Now, other than Amaya's MuMu, was there anything exciting about this episode? Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. You already know what time it is. It's Chic Hair, Chic TV, and we're about to get into this recap and review of Love Island Season 7, Episode 28. Now y'all, there was a lot of things that happened in this episode, but there was a lot of nothing happening in this episode. I didn't know what we were actually watching because this episode was so draining of my time. But first, a few things that didn't waste my time was Ace and Chelley. I was so happy to see that Chelley officially told Ace she wanted to close things off. Now, I was not expecting the response that Ace gave her, but at the same time, I think Ace went through a little bit too much to give Chelley a definite answer right there and right then. Maybe he wants to build up suspense. Maybe he wants to do a grand gesture for her, but at the same time, I think it was like, okay, Chelley, about time you told this man how you failed. And not for nothing, the breakfast did not look that good that she cooked for him, but I was happy that she actually thought about doing something for him. If y'all notice, Chelley does not chase the men, okay? She does expect them to kind of lay out the red carpet for her, but what I will say is that if she actually likes someone, as we see, she's going to do something for them. I think that goes for all females. If you really like somebody, you're going to do. I haven't seen one other person make breakfast in this villa, and it's not a surprise. I genuinely enjoyed the fact that Chelley did take the initiative to also let Chris know that she was going to close things off with Ace and kind of close the chapter to the book that she had with Chris. Now, I think the conversation went well. Do I think there's still an opening for Chris? Honestly, probably not, because I think Chelley has the ick from him. But honestly, did y'all see the way that he touched her back? Chris, keep your hands to yourself. And this is why I say Chris be wasting people's time. He got to go. And speaking of Chris, I just want to say he wasted no time, okay? Letting Huda know, listen, outside the villa, I might not have time for you because I'm going to go overseas, because he got to go overseas to go overseas to do whatever he got to do overseas. I just think it's just really interesting that Chris talks about how much he really likes Huda, and, you know, he had this bad dream and she's really good with his emotions and he's really good at calming her down. And it looks like they actually might be really good for each other. So by letting Huda know he's not going to have time for her outside the villa because of basketball, I really just don't understand, again, why he's on the show. Like, I genuinely enjoy the fact that he is interested in Huda, but at the same time, because the way Huda loves, I just don't think this is going to be someone who's going to be beneficial to Huda and her daughter. Not for nothing, it's nice to hear Chris's perspective, because he is one of the guys who isn't as cliquey as the other men in the villa, but at the same time, where's the vision at with him? I don't hear him talking about the future, and the only future that I do hear him talking about is his and basketball. Now, a person who didn't waste their time was Amaya. I like the fact that Amaya took accountability for how she reacted to Zach, letting him know she didn't want to use any profanity, she didn't want to call him out his name, and she corrected how she was behaving on the show. She didn't let it linger. She talked to him right after that challenge to let him know, you know what, I think we can be friends. And I generally do think that Amaya and Zach K can be friends. I just feel like Zach wasted Amaya's time, but at the same time, because now that everybody sees America loves Amaya, everybody's having a different look on Amaya. Now, is it genuine? I don't know, but I do hope he does not waste her time the way this episode wasted our time. But I do know Bryan ain't gonna waste her time. Now, I'm excited to see the evolution between Bryan and Amaya's relationship. So I love the fact that Bryan and Amaya are Dominican and they have that in common. So the fact that Amaya is very passionate, she's very emotional, this is something that Bryan sees in his household or within his family dynamic that he finds normal. And you know what? They wasted no time. Even though Amaya was laughing the whole time, and I get her because she was nervous, I enjoyed seeing Bryan take the lead with Amaya. Instead of Amaya taking the lead with all the men and trying to figure out what they like and how she should move with them, Bryan said, okay, I see you laughing, I see you blushing, now come here and give me a kiss. I thought that was so cute, but it was also very sexy to watch. Like, I don't know if we were watching the same show, but it was like, okay, she got her a dominant man. We like that for Amaya. We don't need Amaya taking control. We need Amaya to be in her soft girl era and just letting a man tell her which way she need to go, but a man that's going to lead her in the right direction. So I don't think Bryan was wasting Amaya's time. I hope he's not wasting Amaya's time, because he was peeking over the fence looking at Jada instead of Amaya, but I personally think it was kind of like this hex Amaya had on her. And you know what? He's seen it for what it actually was. Amaya's a good person, but now everybody in America loves Amaya. So we have to kind of pay attention to who's actually Amaya for the good and not the bad. And not for nothing, Amaya wasted no time putting that MuMu on, y'all. Now, I was really excited to see her in her comfy girl era. She still had her heels on, but she was like, you know what? Tonight, I'ma chill. America loves me. I don't need to try too hard anymore. This girl was covered up, but I love the fact that she had a connection with Bryan. I love that Bryan is actually defending her and appreciating her for who she is. And you know what? They have this Dominican dynamic about them. And a few people who might be wasting our time, Clark. Now, I love Clark, but Clark, baby, we only got another week left. I need to see a little bit more energy out of you. I love the fact that her and Amaya are creating a connection between each other, but I need to see a little bit more. Now, I feel like Taylor's also wasting a little bit time as well, too. Like, you're not really showing us why we should vote you to be the best couple in the villa. You're really just showing us like, hey, I'm on TV and I'm glad I'm here, and I thank God that I'm still here and you guys didn't vote me out, which is great. But you are wasting time being on this show. Like, at this point, Ariana, we need to get down to 2 couples. This ain't gonna work no more. I also feel like Zach K is just in the villa just to be in the villa. Now, I know he's got his eye on Alandria still, but is that really a couple, or is he just trying to stay in the villa? Like, he's just trying to stay in the race. I just feel like he's wasting our time too. Alon, it might be time for you to go as well, because I don't know who you're going to end up talking to. Now, we do know in the preview he's going to try his hand at Amaya, but baby, I think you're wasting your time. I think Amaya is going to be set on Bryan at this point, and I do hope Bryan sees that. Zach, your story is closed. Alon, your story might be closed. And you know who else didn't waste no time? Nick didn't waste no time asking Cierra if they were a couple in the real world or in the villa world. Not for nothing, I did want to tell Nick, hey, this is the real world, okay? But I do get it, like, being closed off may not necessarily mean, hey, we're together in the villa and outside the villa. So I did like the fact that Cierra did explain it to Nick to let him know, like, no, we're together in the villa and we're going to keep things closed off and we're not going to explore. My only issue is everybody is voting for Nick Olandria for some reason. Now, do I think that would have been a waste of time? Yes, I do, because if Nick definitely wanted to explore things with Olandria, I think he would have done it, especially while Cierra wasn't in the villa. But at this point, it would just be pointless for him to explore other options. Now, as far as Nick wasting Cierra's time, I don't know, but it is starting to feel like he is going to waste her time outside of the villa, and I've been saying that. I don't think Nick is going to hold up outside of the villa. I think at the end of the day, he's going to say, we were great friends, and we tried to make it work, and that was it. So ideally, he's probably gonna waste our time too. So there we have it. This episode was not as exciting. It was given a little boring, and the only thing that was exciting was Amaya's MuMu. Okay, so now it's time to give out the awards, and I'm going to give my MVP award to Bryan. Now, I think Bryan is MVP this episode because he definitely shows Amaya how much he cares about who she is as a person. Now, I definitely feel like he is taking the necessary steps to meet Amaya where she's at when it comes to her emotions. And I also feel like he's honest when he speaks to other people about Amaya. So when he spoke to Nick about Amaya, basically let him know, like, I actually like this side of her that everybody doesn't like. Even though it's a con to everybody, it's a pro in my world, because I see the way that Bryan was with Andrina before she left and before she decided she wanted to talk to other people. They locked in pretty fast. And granted, I don't think it was enough personality for Bryan, but we could definitely see that Bryan is definitely a lover boy. He seems very respectable, and I think this would definitely be a good fit for Amaya. Vote him out, vote him out, vote him out. Y'all, the Vote 'Em Out Award, I want to give this one to Pepe. I do. Just like Nick said to Cierra, it is a little weird because just a few days ago, Grayson laughed, you was hysterical over Hannah, and it was just weird that he was interested in Iris. And not for nothing, when he said my bombshell sister, that kind of threw me off too, because like, why would you reference sister in the same sentence of you going to kiss this girl? So I don't think that Pepe is actually building a real connection with Iris. I think he just played off the fact that he knows America likes him, and he's like, you know what, let me try to find someone that I think would actually work with and build on that. So maybe I'll be in the running to win. And I just don't think we're gonna fall for that. So yeah, I do think maybe Pepe should go because it's not given genuine, and the only couples we actually want to win is either Amaya and Bryan or Chelley and Ace. Yeah. Best dress, y'all. Best dress award is going to Amaya. We all love the MuMu. Like, when I seen Amaya getting ready in that MuMu, I first thought they were getting ready for bed. But then I realized this is where they were going to have their evening chats. And I was like, oh my goodness, she put a MuMu on. Like, she doesn't have a bathing suit on. She has a literal MuMu on. And then she had the little kid heels on. I think she just looks so cute. She was very in her natural state. And I was like, this is the first time that I've ever seen anybody in full clothes at this point, other than the fact of the evening program. But it was like, wow, like, you're not half naked, you're covered up, and you don't care. And I do think that everybody voting for Amaya as most liked, it gave her a boost of confidence that she needed. And you know what? We need to see the MuMus on here, okay? I want to see more MuMus. All right, you all, it is tweet time, and this is when we read some of the tweets from last night's episode. From Lance's Darcy, I do F with Amaya heavy. I think she's a genuine girl. Saying this after America picked her as a fave 3 different times. Oh, Zach, get out my villa. Zach, you gotta go. You gotta go. Not for nothing, before we found out that America loved Amaya, Zach, you was not screaming that. You was not. You was on the side with Austin. You was explaining how it's too much for you. Don't all of a sudden change your way of thinking because you think you're gonna get closer to the money or you think you're gonna win with Amaya. No, I think Amaya deserves someone who actually likes her, and Zach, you don't like her. So not for nothing, maybe try Alandria or somebody else, but it's your time to go. Don't try to play our girl. From Pasture Angel, the cons to them are pros to me. Bryan and Amaya, my winners. They're my winners too. I'll be spinning like that too. I think Bryan is so good for Amaya. Now, I do want to see them have a little bit more conversation because Bryan's kind of quiet. Now, I hope he doesn't give Austin vibes where he's just okay with everything. He's just playing Amaya along the way. I do want to see that they genuinely are interested in each other and he's giving her the chance that she deserves. From Fatumi, Chris thinks that this little sob story is moving me. He's just building up his excuse for when he leaves Huda. Thank you. Okay, I thought I was the only one who see it because how many times you gonna talk about you going overseas and you could be overseas? Like, not for nothing, you did not have to tell Huda that. Like, y'all have a little bit more time, but you telling Huda like, this is where my mind's at, I don't have time outside the villa, it's just giving that you generally didn't have time in the beginning. Maybe you thought, okay, this will work, and honestly, maybe you might see things working with Huda, but maybe you just see it as a friends with benefits type of vibe because you already talked about the future without anyone is just a red flag. I don't know if she's seen it. I hope she's seen it, and she kind of really just gets rid of him. So, yeah. From Hunter's lowkey, choosing to save a man who did your friend dirty because you're worried about your man being devastated. Cierra, I don't know what you are. Now, can we really be mad at Cierra? Like, can we be mad at Cierra for standing behind her man? No. Could we be mad at the fact that Cierra was actually maybe trying to save her friend? No. I think Cierra was doing something that maybe a lot of other people didn't have the guts to do. Maybe it was her sign of telling Orlandria, hey, I don't think this man's about you, and maybe it's time to move on. Because not for nothing, the connection that he has with Clark, it's obvious. I think it was just a move Cierra wanted to make so that Orlandria could actually see where she stood with Taylor. If she took what Taylor said with a grain of salt, I think maybe this actually burned her enough to be like, you know what? I think this chapter with Taylor is actually closed. All right, you all, it's time for my predictions. And honestly, I think Amaya's gonna win. Now, we are gonna get a recoupling, and I'm excited to kind of see who's gonna go home. If I could think of any of the guys who were to go home, it might be Alon. Now, I say this because Alandria still has ties with Zach K, and Alon is kind of just floating right now. Either he's gonna get with Iris, or Iris is gonna call bullshit with Pepe. Now, I don't know, but I do feel like Iris is interested in Pepe. Maybe. I think she still likes CJ, but she's like, listen, my eyes are on the prize, I'm trying to win. So I don't think Iris is going to pick Alon because nobody's really feeling Alon right now. So I also feel like Ace is going to do a grand gesture for Chelley, maybe set up like a date or something to kind of officially ask her to be closed off. Now, we've seen him do a lot of things in the villa, but I would be so surprised if he doesn't officially ask her to be closed off. Now, I also want to know what closed off means for other couples, because clearly with Nick and Cierra, closed off just means in the villa. I feel like with Ace, he wants to go a little bit more deeper with Chelley. Are we going to get that Serena and Cordell story? I don't think so, but it would be nice to see some of the couples actually be together. And then I see Amaya definitely choosing Bryan. I think she actually really likes him. So this is the first time we actually got to see Amaya a little bit more calmer, like not as hysterical when it came to making sure she's having conversations with people or she's talking about all these bad things that has happened to her throughout the day. I think we're all at the point where we actually finally get to see Amaya and who she is when she gets to just the love genuinely. So yeah, I am excited to see what happens with Amaya and Bryan. Like, I'm just gonna keep saying that because I think they're just so cute. So now I'm excited for tonight's episode. So y'all know what to do. Hit that like button, leave a little comment below, and you know what? Don't forget to subscribe. But I will see y'all later. Bye.